Thank you very much, Dr. Clancy. We're going to go around the dais and have everybody 5 minutes to ask you questions. I'm going to ask the panel to try to answer concisely. I know that it's hard sometimes. We ask vague questions, but since we each only have 5 minutes, it's a plus if we can be concise. So I'm going to yield myself 5 minutes now and start with Dr. Clancy a question. Given the prevalence of the PTSD and TBI among veterans, I'd like to know a little bit more about this. These are prioritized treatments you have and technologies. What can we offer our veterans that we hadn't been offering?
To some extent, we're looking at different and can offer now new medical treatments, and we're also looking at ways of how to deliver those treatments. For example, I'm going to guess that you're aware that 1/3 of the veterans we serve live in rural areas, so they've got a pretty substantial distance to travel to get care. And we have recently tested and developed a telehealth approach so that veterans can get this care virtually. And as nearly as we can tell from published studies, this is just as effective as traveling that distance and coming in person.
So you've got metrics on that?
Yes. Well,
we'd love to have you share that with us.
Sure.
Not right this minute, but that's something that would be of keen interest, I think, to everybody in this committee. Dr. Klotman, you mentioned not one size fits all, and one of the areas that we've had some interact with. Which IRB do we use?
So it depends on what institution. In our case, we have 7 independent IRBs, but one of them is dedicated to the VA. So we can get very quick IRB approval for any clinical protocol.
Is the VA IRB quick for you? Is it easy to use?
It is, because it's run by Baylor.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of outsourced to us, so we do it.
Do you think that translates across the country to all the research areas? Because we get the sense maybe it isn't.
I'd say one of the big problems when talking to academic institutions with their VA affiliate is getting clinical trials approved, and I think it's worth exploring how to improve the IRBs to facilitate clinical research for veterans. Absolutely important.
Okay, I'm going to, while I've got you there, Dr. Klotman, I'm going to ask you about translation of VA research to the bedside, so the clinical translation. Do you think that that's happening well? Do you think it's happening rapidly or enough?
I think it is happening terrifically well. We respond, scientists respond to funding opportunities. When you list 5 priorities, our scientists are focused on mental health, on opioid addiction, on PTSD, traumatic brain injury. We're trying to do AI around facial recognition to pick up depression by telemedicine. So we're very focused on trying to translate our work directly to patient care. But that's the mission, you look at the top 30 or 40 medical schools who are into research. We do translational research. That's what we're trying to do, and the VA does it very well.
So if I'm a medical student, I'm not going to go back to medical school. If I was a medical student,
I feel sorry for you.
You can have a syllabus for, and I think these 3 would fit, or top 4 priorities of your 5 would fit together very neatly: PTSD, TBI, suicide, and opioids. I mean, that sounds like one chapter. Get this and read it twice. Is that we have a syllabus for that?
Well, we don't have a syllabus per se, but we do encourage our students to do research with these investigators. We have a specialized center called iQuest, which is really around health and human services research. It's one of the biggest in the country. And we have 25 faculty and probably 40 trainees in that group, all doing research appropriate for veterans. It is actually funded by the VA and the NIH, and it's a tremendous center. So we have direct access for our trainees and learners to get into issues related to veterans.
Great. Dr. Clancy, so the same question on translation. Can you address that from your point of view, or maybe Dr. Ramoni, you choose?
Well, research that we publish and support is highly publicized within our own system. The next step is obviously to make sure that that is tightly linked with clinical operations, and I have to say that under Dr. Ramoni's leadership, there's been a much, much stronger partnership there between the research enterprise and the people who've got to worry every day about how to get this done. We literally had all of our network leaders in town this week, and to say, and Dr. Ramoni wasn't actually there for the conversation, but to say they were excited about research and to hear where they have taken money out of their own budgets to make sure their veterans have access to the findings so that they can put them into practice was quite.
I'm running short on time here, so I want to observe the limits so that I'll be a good role model here. Orion, Dr. Ramon, are you using Orion for the total cancer care? Is that something that's?
We are not, We are not yet participating in Orion, and that is in part because Orion and Apollo, in which we are participating, both are seeking the same types of samples.
Okay, you and I are going to talk offline, and I recognize that my time has run out, and I will yield to Ms. Brownlee,
I
Representative
look
Brownlee.
forward to that. Thank you.